Hey guys, this video is perhaps the most important of all the videos you're going to watch for the whole rest of the semester. If you don't get how practicing is going to work, you're really going to stop your forward progress. And so it's really, really important that you watch this one a couple of times and make sure you really get what this is. Lots of people don't have any idea of what real practice is. A lot of kids will just say, well, I just played through the song once, so I practiced it, so now I'm ready to take the test. And that's not what practice is. Practice is something that is a repetition of something, and it's a repetition with a purpose. So please make sure that you are figuring out what the purpose is when you're practicing. When you look at how our brain interprets doing something that requires multiple parts of it to function all at the same time, like we do when we're playing an instrument, the part that is sort of like the conductor of all the different parts of your brain is one that works best slowed down and does its best work with the more repetition you do. So please make sure you're not being dumb when you practice. I think one of the most important things you have to realize is that beginners are those people who still suck at whatever they're doing. And that may seem a little bit harsh, but seriously, beginners still sound like they don't know what they're doing. People who play for a while and get things going, you can stop being a beginner sounding instrumentalist or musician much faster than you're thinking. So make sure you've got that. Please make sure that you understand that if you're smart about how you practice, you will recognize how much you're improving. It's that recognition and that seeing that you've improved. That's what makes playing an instrument enjoyable in the parts where it's kind of still tricky. You're never going to break through until you can get there. So learn to love how that practice works. So there are some things that make practice difficult because most people think, well, if I just sit and touch the ukulele for 20 minutes, then somehow it's going to impart to me all of its secrets. Please don't be delusional. Time has nothing to do with effective practice. Because if you're just playing a song, especially a song you already know, that's fairly mindless. That's not practicing, because practicing is thoughtful. I need to make you musicians who do what they do on purpose. Every musician does things on purpose when they're playing. And practicing is making you slow things down enough so that you're doing things on purpose. Please remember, and I'm not reading these slides for you, and you're going to have to answer questions about them. So I hope you've, read through them. But the stuff in the white square is probably one of the most important things you could learn. What a player already does well doesn't need to be practiced. We practice what's giving us problems so that it's not going to give us problems anymore. So please be smart about your practice. Practice smarter, not harder. So how are we going to make our practice effective? Well, the key to that is by setting goals and by thinking about what you're doing. We have a word for it. It's called metacognition. And so when you think about what you're doing while you're doing it, you do it better. I would suggest setting some short-term goals. If you have some short-term goals, like I'm going to pick up this new skill, I'm going to learn how to play this C major chord, I'm going to learn how to play this F major chord and change between the two of them. That's something that you can master pretty well within 1 or 2 days. Then set some goals that are more medium term. This is the whole focus for our class. I give you new information, and within 2 weeks, I will expect that you will be ready to test on it. That's what we would do if I were teaching in front of you every day. And that's what's going to keep you on track, even if you're watching all of the videos. So work so that that makes sense. Your medium-term goals are, I can play all of the songs that on pages this to that, because that's what the test is going to be on. I never tell you what the test is in advance. That way you're sure to do it. And then you need long-term goals. I'm going to try and work on things so that they're all smooth and I can get them to work faster. That when I'm reading the music, I can get through it faster. That's a long-term goal. That's going to take about a month. So please make sure that that you're setting those goals. And by setting them, I mean you really should write them down. Please fix the reason you're having problems. Don't just start over again. That's practicing making mistakes. Whatever you practice is what you're going to play like. So make sure you're setting up your practice area. Do you have everything you need? I've seen kids who take the entire class period to tune their instrument. Please don't be dumb. Don't be dumb. Be smart about what you're practicing. Drill down. You played something. What's wrong with what you just played? What are you going to have to do to fix it? I have some good suggestions on this page. Make sure that you're reading them. Make sure that you find strategies. The strategies I had on the last page and the strategies I have here are only a very small part of them. One of the best things you can do, when I have a song I'm trying to work on, sometimes I will play it and I will play it through fast. If you play it through fast, you'll know exactly where you're having problems. Then I go through and circle the places I messed up on. I won't know what that is unless I'm listening to myself while I'm playing. And then I can go, okay, I'm going to take this first place I had a problem with, and I'm going to do what I need to practice it. Practice it so there's no more problems. When there's no more problems, put it back in context. That's a great strategy. There are many more. Make sure you look. You can even do a Google search for practice strategies for instruments. You'll find them. Okay, make sure that you have a plan. Most of your plan should be written down. Even in the books and in the practice materials I give you, there's a place for you to write stuff down. Make sure you're warming up. What are warm-ups? After we learn the 2 or 3 notes on the second string, there are going to be some really easy exercises. Those are good warm-ups. Playing something you already know is a good warm-up. Then make sure you're focusing and then reviewing. Ask yourself questions. What just didn't work? What about it didn't work? What do I have to do so it will work the next time? Please make sure you're also finding times to go back. Go back to stuff you've already played at the end and then wrap up your practice with it. Make sure you're looking for the ways you've improved. If you don't, practice is just really much harder than it needs to be. Now, there are some myths. Some kids think that if they can play it fast, well, then they're good. You cannot learn anything fast. You have to slow it down. I already told you about the part of your brain that works this way. It's a little bit like going hiking in a place where nobody's been. If you're going to go through and go from point A to point B on your hike, at first it's going to be hard and you're going to have to trudge through places. After a while, you're going to make a path. And the more you travel on that path, the better ingrained it is and the more obvious it is and the easier it is to use. So please use what our brain already does to help us to learn, to make your practice better. Okay, performance and practice are 2 different things. You don't start and stop when you're doing a playing test. Playing tests are like performances. You do start and stop when you're practicing. Please make sure that you understand everything on this page. Okay, there are 2 truths about being a practicer. Practicing is difficult. Difficult things are best done in small increments. Please look for how you are improving. If you don't see it, you won't realize that your hard work is worth it. You need to become a troubleshooter. Figure out what that is. Okay, how do you know when you're ready to test? Mastery doesn't equal perfection. That's above mastery. Now, can you play the test, the entire song, in an even tempo without making pitch errors? Then you can take the test. Now, some people wait until they know what the test is in order to be able to play, and that's wrong. When you can play this stuff in the pages that we're working on for that unit, then if you can play all of those in an even tempo without making errors, go take the test. Even if you mess up, you can go back and retest later. Please, if you're making mistakes to the point where we have no idea what you're playing, and I have heard people turn in tests where I had no idea what the song was. Please don't do that. That's not the way to go. Make sure you're reading through all this stuff. You may have to go through and stop so you can read everything, so you can answer everything. Sorry, this is a long one, but it's super important. Good luck.